So this last section is just basically the mindset, just the mindset to be as successful, as efficient as possible with this type of work that we choose to do for whatever the reason that we choose to do it.
Good morning. Hey, it's a great morning.
So the first question is, what would happen if gig workers stopped seeing miles as a cost and started seeing them as an investment? In your opinion?
Maybe a little improvement overall in everybody's income bucket, but not enough to be a significant change in the gig economy as a whole.
So when I wrote this question down, this is what I was thinking, right? You look at it as, it's just the same thing as purchasing a vehicle to do the job that is going to make you money. And then for you to use that money that you earned to now use in another way, maybe in the stock market, life insurance policy, whatever the hell, okay? Not reinvesting it into the vehicle that you're driving, right? Necessarily, even if I know wear and tear and all that shit, right? But if you use the money that you earn to now make other types of investments, this is one investment to help you now invest somewhere else, right? So it's like, if you start seeing what you're doing as an investment, for instance, let me give you a perfect example.
All right.
I wanted to become a platinum dasher to invest in creating content for the channel that people haven't experienced Platinum Dasher yet. But with that new content, it will generate ad revenue. But I only did my time raising my AR after I focused on what would make me a bulk of my money for the day. So me investing in doing the shit that I was like, dreading, okay? It was an investment of my time. People usually say, when they think investment, they only think money, right? And I also consider investing being time, money, anything that will take something away from you to then put somewhere else that maybe you can benefit from it later, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like, if you're now going to start seeing the miles or all of these things as an investment, one more thing I'm going to throw at you. You remember when people started couponing and they were like some real serious couponers? When they got to the store, it's like the store had to pay them. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know they buy their shit. Now the store got to pay them because of all these coupons and how they got everything. Whoa, right? Some people started to try to get into that field, but none of them, if they didn't become a master, they don't really understand that these avid couponers, let them do their thing. They know how to make that thing work, right? So it's the same type of mentality. What I'm saying is long-term thinking. My mindset is not just how can I save as much as possible when it's tax time. It's also about, can I get some money from the government by me doing something to this level, understanding the rules and playing the game their way, the legal way, and then earning something from it, even after I done bust my ass on the road doing shit that I didn't want to do with DoorDash. You get what I'm saying? That's the long-term thinking. Did I still make money with DoorDash? Yes. I'm not saying that I made something with my taxes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the mindset is more of a planner type mindset, knowing what you're going into. It's chess. You know your next couple of moves before you make your first one. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not a chess player, but I've watched many movies and, I've never learned how to play chess, bro. And some people might clown me for this shit, but I know how to play checkers, but not chess. I'm just being honest.
Hot take. As a chess and checkers and Chinese checkers player, checkers is, in my opinion, harder to play.
Okay. Granted, I never took the time to learn how to play chess. I don't even know the first, the second. I don't know.
So every piece has a maximum of up to 6 moves, being the queen.
Okay.
Maybe it's eight, maybe, well, 6 directions. It's actually, I think, 8. And the king, but he can only move one space where the queen can go to the end.
Okay.
Pawns can move only one space at a time, except on their opening move. Horses, knights have a maximum of 8 moves, but they move in a particular direction. Bishops only really move in 2 directions, left or right, at a diagonal infinitely. Rooks are all the way to the left, or all the way forward, all the way back, all the way right. Um, but
But you see, with
there's
that explanation, before you finish, with that explanation, to me, my brain is processing it as comparing it to checkers. Everything is more simplified, in my opinion, with checkers because
it is.
with the knights and the pawns and the queens and all that stuff, everything has their own rules on what they can do. And that's what is hindering me from even learning how to play chess, when checkers is just kind of like, hey, this, do that. You can only move this. You can only do that. You know, like everything, it works the same except when you get crowned, you know, and that's it.
Bingo. Okay, now you've been talking about this long-term, short-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
Checkers is long-term because of the king. Once you get the king, it makes the game infinitely more difficult for your opponent once you get kinged.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Because in chess, it's all about the opening moves and barricading and blocking them in. So it's short term. What can I do now to get him where I need him to next? What can I do now where I need to get him to next?
Oh,
Like,
I
that's
see
how I
what you're
look at
saying.
it. Checkers to me is way harder to win, especially when both sides have kings.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this because I have an understanding of checkers.
Yeah. So
You
in
work
chess,
in the beginning to get to the crown.
yeah.
So it is long term. Okay. Yeah. I like
But
that,
in
bro.
chess, if you lose your queen, you're almost, unless like you're like them pro people who like know the Sounding Waterfall Gambit and all these. I'm not even joking. That's probably a real move name. Like, they have like move sets that are like in professional playbooks, like that sacrifice the queen on purpose as like a false win, like lose this battle to win the war type thing. Like, unless you're doing something like that on purpose, like you lose your queen, you're almost guaranteed. You lose a castle, you're almost guaranteed to lose. You lose your, it's like, because they're the ones that can move across the board at a time
Yeah.
and control. Whereas checkers, it's one here, one here, one here. But when you get the king, oh, now they get to go the other way.
You know, that's interesting. Not to get into games too much, but I was once upon a time, a heavy investor in Game of War. Have you heard of that game?
Game of War or God of War?
No. Game of War.
Game of War.
So Game of War was a game back in the day that you could find a whole lot of YouTube videos on it. You would have your kingdom and you could attack other kingdoms, and depending on how many soldiers and the type of soldiers that they had would determine on if you die, and if you lose your king, you can expose your whole kingdom because you sent your king to kill off whoever, right? And if you lose your king, you leave your kingdom exposed. And if your kingdom's exposed and they kill off all your soldiers, you got to now spend more money to build all that shit back up. You know what I'm saying? So
Sounds like a fun game.
so there were rally leaders, okay?
Okay.
and then there were traps. So depending on your alliance, it's so long ago, I'm trying to remember all the terminology. Depending on your alliance, right? The group of people that work together to form a rally to attack this main thing, whatever, right? They will basically send you soldiers, but it leaves them exposed. And if they are a trap, it looks like they're weak. But they are crazy. If you send your king or your rally to them or whatever, it's like you lose your king. Now you lose everything because now everybody attacking you. So it's like, to be a trap, it's all math.
Right.
That's the point that I'm trying to get to. It's all math. And once you know what you're doing, you can leave yourself exposed, making a person think it's easy. But boom. And those names that you came up with, it kind of reminded me of all of that. Because there were things like traps, there were rally leaders, there were, all different types of things. But that was just the gaming world. And you used to spend money every day. Bro, they used to milk the crap out of me. I used to spend maybe a $700 a week in just buying new things that they release on a daily basis that will then make my kingdom stronger, to make it seem like, I'm weak, but then I'm really bad. I'm really badass, And back then, my nickname for the game, I just hope nobody knows or remembers this name, but my name was King Bull. Because I was taking my zodiac sign, which is Taurus, and I was taking that as, that was the beginning of it. I went with that, King Bull, but then I turned into a bully because I knew a lot of mathematics stuff to beat traps and to beat rally leaders at trying to fight for the main trophy of this, what they call KVK. Right, which it always happened on a specific day of the week at a specific time. You got all your team together. Who's gonna be here for the KVK? It's like a big championship type shit. And whoever could hold the fort the longest will win KVK in the end, and then the whole alliance gets a whole lot of benefits if they were able to hold it down. So anyway, obviously, it took a lot to learn all the things I learned, and I played that game. I was a damn good rally leader, damn good. People hated King Bull, bro, because I was a bully. I was everything, and I was dropping money. Some people could not drop money to get the new shit, and when they didn't drop shit, here I am, bam! I'm hitting them across the head, and I'm taking all their shit, So anyway, we went. That was southeast. Okay, we went left, we went right, we went southwest. Now we went southeast. But seeing Miles as an investment, that's long-term thinking. Knowing that you can actually benefit long-term versus short-term. I understand some people may not see it as an investment, but it can be. If you look at Amazon, why does Amazon have all these damn vans? And they're easily giving their vans to DSPs. You know what a DSP is, right?
Delivery service provider.
They're easily giving them, hey, listen, you are a third-party business that we are going to partner with, but we're going to give you vans for you to go and hire your own employees to work for you, but we're going to supply you with the vans. Bruh, you don't think Amazon's smart as hell? They know exactly what they're doing, racking up a shit ton of miles, and they're paying a certain amount per package. Man, this is let's just stop there.
They've gamed it. They don't care about the miles because they're going to get the tax write-off on the miles. On top of that, they get these brand new vehicles every year. They get to keep them for 5 years on these payment plans with the dealerships and get to write off, quote unquote, the depreciation from earlier in the episode.
Exactly.
And the only reason why I know about that is because I get to do that with my car because I have a car loan on it. And I did buy it for my job, and it's only for my job. I never really go anywhere in it.
But you see, long-term thinking has its benefits, but not many gig workers I see online think long-term. A lot of them think short-term. The offer, what does it pay for the miles? And don't get me wrong, I've done videos like this as well. And I would like to put it on record. I've matured as a business owner. I now own 3 separate businesses, right? I've matured as a business owner, and I've learned a lot more since my very first video in the gig space on YouTube, right? I've learned so much more because that 90% of me branching out, right? Because the 10% I was following everybody else, but now 90% I branched out and figured some shit out on my own to becoming an OG or a leader in the space and providing information that could benefit all drivers versus just drivers in my market, right? It then basically just gave me a whole new way of looking at everything, bro. So long-term investment. My next purchase is a vehicle to do the job that I'm gonna be doing for the next 5 years.
Same.
This vehicle that I have, do I want to park it? I kind of do, but at the same time I don't, because I know what I purchased it for. Now I'm getting to the age in the gig space, the gig space time and age, right? That I'm like, now I just want to do more chilling versus hustling, right? I know it's still a hustle. You got to get what you got to get. I love the hustle, but I'm almost in that retirement phase of gig space where I'm just more like, listen, I just want to do this and do that. And, I'm just chilling,
It's funny you word it that way, because I went into the gig space to hustle with my W-2, but when I quit my full-time job, it's like I hit retirement. If I'm not feeling up to it, I'm not going out and working. I'm not putting myself at risk. If I, like I quit doing passenger work for the same reason. It's like I realized I was putting myself at risk, and then there would be passengers in the vehicle because I would get sleepy because of traffic.
Yeah.
So it's like I work it like a full-time job, but I treat it like it's a retirement hobby.
Exactly. But it's a different mindset. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's definitely a different mindset when you look at it that way. But there's some people that's like, oh, you ain't working hard enough. Hey, that's why you ain't making no money. Hey, bruh.
Part of that is newer generations,
Yeah.
the instant gratification,
Yeah.
the games that DoorDash and everybody play. Like, I'm not going to say that's not a part of it, because that is. Because, like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I see that plus sign, I get excited every time.
Yeah.
And then I got to tell myself I'm like, ooh, plus sign. Like, man, it's probably only a bloody quarter.
Exactly. Or 13 cents. Exactly. And that was
penny. I've had a penny hidden. I was so furious.
No, bro.
Yes. On both programs, Top Dasher and the tier program.
Hell no. And I remember on the Nola Grind and I's episode, we were talking about that dopamine hit when we hear that sound. They got that thing. Like, ting, ting, ting. What is it? Like I want that, whatever that is, So let's continue here, right? So could changing the way drivers think about mileage increase their income without working more hours?
Absolutely. And prime example. I did speak to you and Josh on a live stream about it, but there's a point where I see the mileage and I see the pay, and it's like $36 was one of them. Flat out told me $36. It's 25 miles, so I know it's a 50-mile trek. But I'm sitting here, I'm looking, I see, oh, it's this restaurant. Okay, there might be a tip hidden. They don't say it. Might be. I'm not counting on it though. And then I'm like, they're always ready with the food when you get there.
Finding the benefits.
I see where it's going. It's all highway mileage, so I can speed if I want to. and because of not necessarily drop off, but speed on the way back. So it says it's going to be a 30-minute thing, and it's like 30 minutes for $36. Done. I don't care about the 50 miles.
It's about your time at that point.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and like Spark has taught me this so much because I get these bullshit orders. Like you were talking about the DoorDash ones, like Dashmart and stuff like that, which like I love those. Like you tell me it's $90 and it's 100 miles, I'm taking it all day, even if it's up to 4 hours. Because guess what? That's $100 for 4 hours, guaranteed. I got my money for the day. Goals met, daily goals met. Everything else is extra. My day's easy. I can now
Yeah.
cherry pick if I want to. I can do this. But I
Yeah.
get these Walmart orders. They'll be like, oh, it's an hour and a half. It's 30 stops,
Yeah.
100 items, but it's only 25 miles.
Yeah.
Like it's a no brainer. Take the guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Time now becomes more of a factor than the money.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's
Right.
that's what people need to look at. They need to go, okay, if the mileage is too much, double check that dollar amount and double check your time. Like everybody has says it, know your restaurants, know your location, know your market. Double check that time versus money if the mileage looks wrong. If both are a no for you, then that's not an order for you. But if you can justify one or the other and go, oh, that's $25 and I can get that done in an hour, take it. Even if it's 50 miles round trip.
Now, I'll tell you this. I'm glad you said this, right? I received an order on delivered for $60. Guess how many
That's
miles?
a good one.
Guess how many? Don't speak too fast, John.
Look, the highest on the list.
Don't speak too fast. We're talking mindsets. We're talking about a lot of what you just spoke of. Guess how many miles? And
no one
by the look on my
delivered?
face, you should know it's a stressful situation. $60 for how many
So,
miles?
this is a trick question, I'm thinking.
It is.
And I'll explain. And it's because of where I live at.
Oh, you're gonna
know.
ask me a question? Okay, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, I get $30 orders on delivered all the time,
Mm-hmm.
going 2 to 5 miles from pickup to drop off.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I got to drive 40 miles to pick it up. And I'm thinking that's kind of what we're hitting here.
Not really, bro. This is by far the worst. And I'll put it up on the screen. I may black out some things, but I'll put it up on the screen for people to see it. This is by far the worst order I have ever seen. Notice the emphasis on certain words. The worst orders I have ever seen on delivered.
Okay, you're specifying delivered because I got a screenshot for deliver that could beat it probably.
Maybe. I've seen some bad shit on delivered. But
And it wasn't even an Ola order, but it was Pollo Tropical.
I've seen one out of town, bro. So that's what this is. It's an out of town.
Okay.
Listen to the pickup time. 9:43 a.m.
Oh, that's a no.
Listen. The drop off, 3 p.m.
What the fuck? My bad, my language, YouTube.
No, bro. Don't worry about it. This is the podcast. We could do this. We could speak our minds and we can say what the fuck we want to. Bro, 9:43 a.m. and the drop off time is 3 p.m. for February 27th, 2025. My brother.
Was the pickup the previous day just to add emphasis to injury?
It was a breakfast order. I had to pick up some bagels.
I'm sorry, that
Yes.
drop off is not breakfast.
Bruh, 334.82 miles.
That's past Josh.
Yeah, Josh is about 250.
Well, no, because you down further south than me.
But Josh is still maybe about 250 something for me.
Seriously?
Maybe. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But yes, bro. That's by far the worst order I have ever seen on delivered. And I would love to think that was a glitch. I hope it was a glitch. Because not even the mileage pay could help that one. Okay. So the question, could changing the way drivers think about mileage increase their income without working more hours?
I'm changing my answer because of that delivered order.
I don't think anybody would take that shit. I don't give a shit how much benefit that shit would be later. Nah, dog. That's what? How many hours is that? From 9:43 to 3 p.m.
Dude, so
Hell no.
I don't even think you can get there on time.
No, I think you can.
It's basically a 10 o'clock pickup, and it was 3 what p.m.?
4 hours? Like just 3 p.m. 10,
For
11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 5 hours. Yeah, you could do that.
5 hours. It was how many miles?
334.82.
You'd have to be the highway the entire time doing 60 miles an hour and hope there's no wreck. There's no way you're getting there on time. You're going through 2 rush hour sets of traffic. There's going to be at least 2 accidents. You are not making it on time.
Okay. I see where you went. You went with the Florida route, meaning you don't know what you're going to run into on a Florida highway at the time
I know
of day.
exactly what we're going to run into.
Yeah, you know what you're going to run into because you're used to driving on that road. But a person that's not used to, right? I was just thinking like 334 anywhere, right? But you're thinking Florida. You know what's going to happen here.
I would take this order under one stipulation.
What?
So I was talking to Pedro because he was saying ride shares kind of trash unless you do the promos with the offers he's getting in St. Louis. But I explained to him that when I do like Uber, I think it's Connect, where they do packages, you pick up a package and then like you drive it to BFE.
Yeah.
I do the Uber like get to destination, so you get rides coming to where you're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
If I had already gotten down to where that pickup was and they gave it to me and it's going back to where I got to come from, I'd do it. It's a shitty one, but I would still do it. That'd be the only situation is if I was already on my way to said location.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So
That's the only way.
I get it, you know. So as we wrap up here, brother, right? The last question. What's the key takeaway for drivers who are stuck in the less miles equals better mindset? In your opinion.
The nice answer is you need to recalculate your mathematics. Sit down, actually do the mathematics. Find the online spreadsheet that will help you figure out your dollar per mile ratio to activate your car. Because as somebody who did it for my Prius takes 16 cents per mile to run my car. That's including expenditures on my tires, expenditures for gas on average, for brakes, for car insurance, for monthly payment, all of it. 16 cents per mile to run my little Toyota Prius, which means basically anything that's 25 cents a mile or more, I'm making a profit based on the vehicle. It doesn't count depreciation because, again, I think that's a myth. And something that shouldn't be factored in majority of the gig space economy. But run your maths because that'll help you figure it out. Like, because I was stuck on that. I need to make a dollar per mile ratio with my Kia Sorento. And then I found out, no, I can do 75 cents a mile, still pay all my bills and make some money.
Yeah.
And that drastically changed my outlook in my tiny market because that's why I started taking the $4 for 5 miles instead of sitting and not making the $4.
So I'm all about, like I said a few times, I'm all about long-term thinking. I'm all about planning. I'm not just going to do random things just to do them. Right.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of drivers, they would, like, say if they got to pay the rent or if they got to pay a light bill, maybe it's a part-time thing for them, whatever it is. Right.
That's fine.
That's fine. But they are out on the road to do this extra or to make this money to do that thing that they got to do. You know, they got to pay for. They're not, that's almost like short term. Like they're not thinking like, oh man, you know, how can this benefit me in the long run? So I'm like, the best way for me as a full-time gig worker is to have that long. Huh?
Think about what you just said.
What?
Full-time gig worker.
Yeah, that's exactly why I went into it. Right. So it's like, as a full-time gig worker, the best thing for me to do is think of how to save as much money possible long term. Right. Any business owner this is what they do. They look at what can they donate, where can they donate it to save as much as possible. This is business.
Write-offs.
This is exactly. Write-offs. Everybody's trying to save as much money as possible on taxes because they know once they hit a certain tax bracket, you know, that they hit you over the head, right? So it's like, the thing is, full-time, obviously I'm going to make more money than part-time, right? I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like, even if you had those very short-term hours or part-time hours, I would say, like the 8:30 to 12 a.m., if you were to make that $400 every day doing the same shit you did every day, that would immediately exceed what a lot of people make, which is like $200, $250 a day, maybe. Right?
And see that like I want to make sure that like that is not an everyday thing. That was a unicorn Sunday.
I know.
You
I
know,
get it.
that market at that time on the weekend, 250 for that about 4 hours. That was pretty decent. Like that's even higher than what I'm usually making. You know,
Yeah.
but at that particular time, coming home with $200 a day for 6 hours worth of work was not unheard of for me.
Yeah. So, as a full-time gig worker, long-term thinking, in my opinion, is the best way to handle gig work, right? Long-term, because again, if you just remember the title of this whole thing, why are you afraid of miles when miles are saving you money? You got to be able to get out of the W-2 mindset. Like John just said, actually run your numbers. Know what the fuck you're going to do or you're going to spend before you actually get out there. John already know. What did you say, John? 16 cents to operate?
16 cents per mile to operate my vehicle.
You see what I'm saying? Like, these are numbers that he worked out. He knows exactly what his cost will be. Now, not everybody likes math, but the math ain't really that hard. You just got to put the numbers together. And
you got to know what to look for. You got to put the numbers together. You got to take the time.
And I'll tell you what, if it's just that much difficult for you, shit, we got AI everywhere. Let Chat GPT do it for you. Put the numbers in Chat GPT and say, hey, how much does it cost for me to operate my vehicle with these miles? Or if you don't know what to look for, ask AI, whatever you use. Chat GPT is free. I know there's some other free ones, but you say, what do I need to know the cost per mile to operate my vehicle in gig work? It will give you the questions. You answer all the questions, you input that stuff, and booyah. It gives you what it costs to operate per mile, the vehicle you drive, all that stuff. So if you did not know how to do that, I just gave you a secret sauce. If math is not your thing, I get it. Not everyone likes numbers, right? I'm going to also say I'm not a mathematician. I'm not the one to lose my mind if I finally figured out a geometry equation or whatever, right? There's some people that love it that much, right? There's some people like me that's like, oh, I'm okay with numbers, but
yeah, 1 and 1 is 3.
Let's not do that right there. But all I'm saying, fam, is full-time, part-time, doesn't matter. Full-time, part-time, knowing your numbers is always going to be beneficial to you. If you have a W-2 and you know how much you need to make to then earn some more on your tax return or get some more, how much you need to work. Like, I don't mean to ramble on here, but some retirees, they know how much they got to work for. They know their limit per year to not exceed for them to keep receiving that check per month. You get what I'm saying? It's like that Social Security check. If they want to continue to receive that, they need to make a certain amount of money. Or I think it's a disability check. Whatever it is.
Both of them, there's a certain amount.
There's a certain amount. But the whole point is they know I cannot make more than this. So if they are working, they're not going to make more. Look what John said earlier. What you said, they're okay with making $30 for the day. It benefits them, right? They're okay with making $30 for the day. They're okay with what we might not be okay with. So, but they still have their limits and they know their numbers. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. Know your numbers and everything will work out in the end. I'm a long-term thinker. I see benefits in the end. I don't see benefits right now. I get the benefits right now. I can see it, but I'm thinking down the road. How will this benefit me if I do this, that? And that's pretty much it, man. So, John, I appreciate your time, bro. This was definitely a conversation I could not have with just anyone, man. Some people would look at me crazy with some of the shit that I said in this episode, and I appreciate your take. I appreciate your thought process. I appreciate you, dissecting the questions, as difficult as some of them were, even with me repeating like some of them, you still delivered, bro. And I salute, bro. I appreciate you and your time. Thank you.
Not a problem. It's what I'm here for.
So any last words, man, for the fam before we wrap up?
Just long-term, short-term, assess your stuff. Take a look at yourself. Is this really what you're meant to do, what you want to do, what you need to do? Run your numbers. And here's a little shortcut. Don't take anything less than 70 cents per mile right now, because that's what the IRS gives you, is 70 cents per mile.
You know what? I appreciate you saying that, because I completely forgot to put it up on the screen right there, bro. If you listen to what John said, 2025, 70 cents business use per mile. That's what you get, y'all. Last year was 67. They gave us 3 cents more this year. Okay, you see it right here. And as you see the logo on the top right there, you can't say, oh, he made that up. Nah, I know some people could. They're good at Photoshop to do shit like this, right? To make it look just as good. But no, I can't do Photoshop for shit. So this right here comes directly from the IRS.gov website. You can go check it out for yourself. But the mileage rates for all years, cents per mile, 2025 at 70. Know your numbers before the end of the year, fam. Know your numbers. Track your miles. Like you said, John, there's apps for that. If you want to do it manually, you can do that too. Right? There's apps for it. Make it happen. So, thank you for that, bro. I forgot about that screenshot.
I thought I bypassed it.
So, anyway, fam, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is another one of those episodes, is just to get your mind thinking about a lot of the decisions that we make out here. And John, thank you for the fireworks. Thank you for the fireworks, but this is where we must exit and put up the deuces, John. Come on, bruh. Deuces.
Oh yeah. What time it is, D-Fam? Yeah. It's time to what? Go get your money.